YouTube, welcome to the top 8 where we have branded Despia with no Puppet. Puppet is banned on the official Master Duel ban list. We're playing against Zoodiac in a Yubel meta. Now, Bun is probably doing really well within the Yubel meta because we are main decking Dimension Shifter, even though it's only semi-freaking limited. Very nicely done for you, getting to the top 8 and even 16 with this deck. Now, by watching this video as long as you can, that greatly supports us, even if you have us on in the background as you're doing laundry or working out. Are you ready? Hajime!
There can only be one winner, and you're looking at it. Let's go.
Zoodiac passed. I mean, Zoodiac is 5 hand traps. That's it. Now, if you Dimension Shifter, it turns off your Droll. It turns off your Veiler, but you could still use Ogre, and you could still... Nope, it actually turns off Ogre also. What the heck? Only Ash Blossom's activatable. So if you Shifter, you could still Ash, but you turn off your Ogre, Bird, and your Veiler. So what do? Do we turn off more than half of our hand by using the Shifter? Let's see. Foolish Burial sending from the deck. We're going to chain Dimension Shifter to it just like that. No Veil, no Droll, no Ogre, but Ash Blossom is still activatable to negate the Branded Fusion. We're going to grab an Alubur, come to us, a Branded Lost. Set up the Branded Lost to activate our Branded Fusion with. And just like that, Ash Blossom negates. Now, Triple Tactics Thrust is played to counter Ash Blossom because what happens is your Branded Fusion gets negated by Ash, but then you use a Fusion Duplication, set it from your deck to copy the Branded Fusion in your graveyard, but the Branded Fusion's not going to the grave, it's getting banished. So the counter to the counter has been countered by Dimension Shifter. So we now need Branded Sword, we need Kit. We need Kit to add back the banished Branded Fusion. So even though it's banished, it's not gone forever. We'll still get it back. And Bun is passing again. Armored Exceeds. We just have a bunch of hand traps here. We're in beatdown mode. Beat him down. Thrust is no longer activatable. We maybe should have still set a card from the deck, possibly. We have Anaconda, but there's no Branded Fusion to send from the deck to the grave. We're going to send a Fusion Deployment instead. Veiler, negate the ability to summon a Cartesia or an Albaz. Now, this would have locked us from being able to special summon for the rest of the turn. You did make our Thrust activatable to set up a Fusion Duplication, which again, we don't have a Branded Fusion in grave. So Duplication could copy a Fusion Deployment, which could summon an Albaz to fuse with the opposing field. We are going into the battle phase attack and into the Anaconda, copying the duplication. I should say the deployment with the duplication is summon Albaz. Albaz, discard the sword. And the Ogre is going to stop the Albaz. Albaz can't fuse with itself if it gets destroyed, thus no fusion summon. We're going to chain the Branded Red to grab the Alubur to fuse with the Albaz on field plus the Anaconda to make our Mirror Jade. That will trigger the Branded Lost to search our deck for something like a Mercurier. So we have a monster negate, we have the Mirror Jade to non-target monster banish, we have an Alubur in the hand to summon to make more plays with. Obviously done. Special summoning the Terror Top alongside it, special summoning the Take Tomborg. You normally would have searched it, so unfortunately we do lose a card out of our hand. We have the X-Saber Invoker, summon from the deck a Zoodiac, discard a Zoodiac to draw a card. Xyz Armor Fortress, detach 2, search for the Xyz Armor Fortress, Xyz Trap, and the Xyz Armor spell that is to reborn a monster. No, it equip a monster from the graveyard, that's what it does. You now have Zoodiac Trident. We're going to rank this up in a Dark Knight Lancer, set the trap, and let's go. So what do we have here? We have pop a card, plus we are activating the full Armored Xyz to make another Trident. So pop a card, plus suck up a card, non-targeting. It's going to suck up a monster. So disrupt, plus Ash Blossom and Max C. So 4 disruption into Max C. Let's go. How do we play around it? Alubur searching for a Branded Fusion. Branded fuse it up into an Ash Blossom negate into Finger Their Ash. Negate. Chain a Max C, so we use the Ash Blossom to protect our Max C. Full Armored Xyz is going to be applying the effect to Trident. What? Equipping the X-Saber Invoker. Are we triggering the Lancer right now to suck up the Alibur? Or we're going to suck up the Fusion? Okay, that's what we're doing. Send from the deck an Alibur and the Chaos Nephthys. So we're changing our mind on what we want to summon. So now when this triggers off of the equip, we're going to chain negate. And is anything else triggering here to chain link block the activation to suck up the Rinbrum? I don't think so. Trigger the effects, negate, and return back. Now, the return back is non-targeting. So we still have the Trident, which would activate to pop a card in the field, but if we use Rinbrum, we could spin it back into the extra deck. Yup. Pop the Alibur, negate, and then flick back into the extra deck. Thus, we have no more disruption. Fusion deployment, reveal the Albion to summon an Albaz on summon, discard to fuse with the opponent's field, making our Mirror Jade. We set up lethal under Max C. 5,500. Uh-oh. Grass looking green. We're going to mill 19 cards off the top of our deck here. Get milling. What did we accomplish here? Well, we're going straight to the battle phase. We didn't mill a Retribution to add back one of our engraved cards. To battle we go. We're not going to banish with the Mirror Jade. The X-Saber Invoker was destroyed instead of the monster it was equipped onto. Main phase 2, we're going to use the Tragedy to set up with a Branded Lost. If we use the Brand in red, the monster we summon off of it cannot attack directly. So we still have the effect to banish, and we could negate an extra deck monster, and we could go into a Chimera, which could pop cards in the field, plus have a monster negate. We just lost our negate there, so we're now down to 4 disruptions. We're going to pop with the Barrage to summon a Thoroughblade from the deck. We're going to trigger the Chaos Nephthys. Chaos Nephthys, I don't have a lisp. It's going to trigger off of a card on the field being destroyed to reborn to then banish a card plus 2 cards in the graveyard. Come forth. Magnahut is going to stop that by banishing it. So stop its summon. It's not going to banish a card in the field plus 2 cards in the graveyard. But now that we banish the Chaos Nephthys instead, we now can't use it in response to the Branded in red because we don't have another monster to use it on. Magnahut triggering to grab another Bestial during the end phase. We have a Trident, which is activatable to pop a card in the field. Typhon. With Typhon, immediately 3,000 or more attack on the field, grave, anywhere cannot activate. We could detach a material to spin a card on the field back into the hand, which is a monster. Now, the Rinbrum can negate that. We could use the Trident to try to pop the Rinbrum before it tries to negate the Typhon. Go into battle. Simply battle. Don't even have to activate the Trident. Alibur is going to be reborning from the graveyard after you destroyed our fusion monster to negate your Trident as we use the Branded Sword to add back a banished Quem. We are also activating Rinbrum to summon our Albaz to fuse with your field. We're going to chain Max C, and with your field, it's just going to be 1 monster. Come forth, Albaz, discard, fuse with the Typhon within the battle phase, making a Titan Clad. We can now use 3,000 or more attack. Branded Lost, search for the Mercurier, which is a monster negates. Within the battle phase, at the end of the battle phase, we're going to come forth and probably summon a Chimera. Chimera, wipe up 2 cards on their field, plus draw 1. They would draw 1 card off of this also, but it was too much. Branded Despia with no puppet is back in the top 8, advancing to the top 4. Let's go. Nightmare Throne popping a Spirit of Yubel to summon a Yubel into the field. Now we're using the Max C. We waited. As we then Magnahut banish the Spirit of Yubel from the graveyard to stop them from summoning a Phantom of Yubel. So if you are asking the big question, should you play Magnahut yourself? Well, if you're playing Bestial against this is a good option to stop them from summoning the Phantom of Yubel. Phantom of Yubel is now not summonable, and we're probably going to try to hit them with a Nibiru. Let's go. Spirit Gate, searching for the Dark Beckoning Beast. Normal summon, search our deck for the Chaos Summoning. We can now summon the Chaos, the Phantom of Yubel, so we didn't completely stop it. Additionally, summoning the Chaos Summoning Beast. And on the resolution here, we're going to be summoning the Phantom of Yubel, but we're all under Max C. Shavara pop Yubel, come forth and summon. Still under Max C. This Mad Lad is not stopping. Further Shokaning under the Max C. We have the Soul of Rage triggering Shavar to set up the escape. And let's talk about how much disruptions we have. Nibiru eating up the Phantom of Yubel disruption. Negates. All right. Spirit of Yubel triggering to summon a Yubel onto the field. What are we doing? Why? Why? What the? Bro, you're still under Max C. Nightmare Pain? Luke, are you like trying to deck him now? He's got 29 cards left. Grab a Squirmer. Luke has gone absolutely mad. We did not really add anything to the field by doing that. Okay. You know, Nightmare Pain, sure, but that's probably going to very easily be outed. Let's talk about the disruptions. Druid Swarm being added. We could banish a card from the graveyard. That was quite devastating, that banish on the Yama. Now, we have either the Escape or the Soul of Rage is dead, because we're not going to be able to use both. If we pop the Soul of Rage, we're not going to be able to add back the Rage onto the field through the Yama. So we could link off with their monster, and then we could go into the Lil Knight, and we also have Imperm, and we have Veiler. So even through all that, we still have about 5 disruption. Let's go. 10 cards in our hand. We're going to start this off by making a Nightmare Phoenix. Nightmare Phoenix on summon, discard a card, pop a back row. Triggering the Druid Storm to send the Soul of Rage to link off with the Phoenix. So we're now down to 4 disruption. Chain Maxi to the Soul of Rage. Imperm to negate the Phoenix. We're now down to 3 disruption. Cross out Designate to negate the Impermanence. Negate. Okay. Let's successfully go through with this Link Summon into Little Knight. Little Knight on summon will activate to banish a card in the field or in the grave. And activates. So we're now down to 2 disruption. Gamma, negate and destroy. Little Knight is not chain banishing itself plus the Spirit of Yubel. We're now down to just 1 Effect Veiler. We have not even committed to our normal summon yet, and we ate up 4 of 5 disruptions. Veiler on the Oak, negate. We're not playing Kieran, so no Kieran to chain pop to dodge the Veiler. Alrighty, 0 disruption. Now, while we're at 0 disruption, if we go to the battle phase, we have to attack into the Spirit of Yubel, which will reflect all battle damage we deal. So we have to still do something about the Spirit of Yubel, or do something about the Nightmare Pain. We already summoned our Nightmare Phoenix, which would out the Nightmare Pain. Let's see what we do. Dark is going to reborn a dark monster from the opponent's graveyard. Come to me, Little Knight. Summon the Diablo Star, set up a Subversion. Subversion, push the Spirit of Yubel into the back row. Thus, we have an open field to attack into. Celine Abida, a great way to go into Access Code Talker or into a double negate Apollo USA. Reborning a Diablo Star or a Veiler from the hand or grave. Shokaning into Access Code Talker is here. But boost up, banish in the grave, take out a card in the field, going for the Nightmare Throne. Again, banish a Dark, take out the Nightmare Pain. For the Shokan into Promethean Princess. Dude, he's already dead. What are you doing? Jesus. We're going to come forth and summon a Flame Burst trigger, reborn from the graveyard, but boosted up by the field spell. Raging Phoenix into Zelantis. Is this necessary? What the heck are you doing? Squirmer is going to chain pop the Spirit of Yubel in response to you trying to push it into the back row, thus summoning a Yubel onto the field. But we finger the Yubel to stop it from summoning a Yubel as the Promethean Princess reborns to take out the Squirmer. And this is what happens when you take the Maxi Challenge turn 1. Your opponent has absolutely everything. Driver could go into attack if it wants to. 13,000 damage. Game 2. I think we oversummoned against Maxi. All right. Starting off with the Nightmare Throne. We're going to Ash Blossom, negate the Nightmare Throne. We have Cross Out Designate to negate the Ash, but we are not doing so. We're going to hold on to that Cross Out. A ton of disruption. 1, 2, 3 monster negates, plus a 4th monster negate, plus link off, Little Knight into pop a card with Escape. 8 disruptions versus a 5-card hand. Well, 1 subversion could turn the 3 negates on Apollo into going to the back row. That's a good one. Good card. Push it back. Boom. From 8 disruption now down to 5. But 3 cards versus 5 disruption. Okay, now we have 4 cards. We're going to Original Sinful, send the Diablo Star to summon from the deck a Poplar. Poplar trigger, grab the Divine Temple. We're not going to waste our Phantom of Yubel on that. We're waiting. 5 disrupt. We're going into a Link Karibo to trigger the Poplar to equip into the back row. We have not committed to the normal summon yet of our Snake Eye Ash. We are now on the activation of the Divine Temple to pop it with our Soul of Rage. Wipe it out. You can't set up into the back row Flameburge. And we have 4 disruptions left. Reborn the Soul of Rage. Phantom of Yubel. And we have Soul of Rage. Little Knight. Cross out, designate. Negate the Maxi. And what's crazy about this, we held onto that cross out. We did not negate an Ash Blossom onto the Nightmare Throne. Very well done. Add back Shavara. Resummon onto the fields. Our Soul of Rage. We're going to be linking off with the Link Karibo right here, right now, going into Little Knight. On summon, banish the Poplar from the fields. Oh, no, we're banished from the graveyard, the Original Sinful. We have 2 more disruption. Little Knight chain banishing herself plus the Snake Eye Ash. We have Link Karibo dodging the banish. And thus we're left with 1 disruption left, just the Phantom of Yubel. Grab a Poplar, trigger Poplar, summon Poplar, Phantom of Yubel, negate. All 8 disruptions are now gone. Down to 0. But we're also left with no more plays. And our Link Karibo has to attack into Yubel for 600 damage. 300, 300. End our turn. Well, I guess we could see Yubel has definitely won this duel. We're going to Nightmare Pain, pop Yubel, grab D-Lotus, trigger Yubel, trigger Nightmare Throne, return back Phantom of Yubel, summon Terra Incarnate, D-Lotus, summon from the deck, Spirit of Yubel, making a Muckraker, discard, reborn, Soul of Rage. We're going to be returning from the grave to summon Phantom of Yubel to now make a Lord of Yama. Yama grabs Shayama, which does not want to be in the hand. Nightmare Griffin, discard to set back onto the field our Escape of Unchained. Summon our Phantom of Yubel, wipe out the Link Karibo, 2,500 to the face. Back to you. We didn't even bother. Well, we couldn't activate the Link Karibo. Link Karibo is not linked to the monster. And nor is the Phantom of Yubel. Because Phantom of Yubel is not next to the Nightmare Griffin, it cannot negate a monster effect. So our only thing that we have in play right now is the Nightmare Griffin disallowing special summon monsters from activating unless they're linked. We could use Escape of the Unchained onto our Shavara if we pop our face down Spirit Gates, so we have a Floodgate plus pop a card, but we don't have Phantom of Yubel. It's turned off. Druid Swarm banishing the Yama. Shavara Chain pop in the Spirit Gates. Sure. Why is the Phantom Yubel all the way over there? Summon the Poplar. We're going to use Escape to get pop in. Link Karibo is going to dodge the Escape pop, but you are... we're going to chain Maxi to that. Sure. And the Phantom Yubel, again, just chilling all the way in the left field here, not able to negate anything due to it not being linked. The Escape is very similar to the Little Knight. It has to pop both cards or it pops nothing. Destroy both. There was not another card to destroy, thus the Shavara is stuck on the field. Equip the Ash Blossom, making a Little Knight. Now, can this Little Knight activate? We used a Link Karibo on a Druid Swarm. Little Knight is not linked. This is not considered linked, even though she's pointing to Muckraker. It's not directly adjacent to the card. So the Nightmare Griffin is turning off Little Knight, completely not activatable. But the Druid Swarm in the graveyard will activate to send the Griffin to the grave, right? No, we're going to send the Phantom of Yubel instead, which will trigger the Nightmare Throne to grab Spirit of Yubel to summon Spirit of Yubel. You have to attack in the Spirit of Yubel. And we end in the turn. I mean, what do we do? The Nightmare Griffin has turned off our Little Knight. Reflect 1,600, take out Little Knight, and just like that, lethal damage. Nightmare Griffin in Yubel. Quite the sight to see here. Most players are not playing it. Let's see the analytics on that. Let's look up Griffin. Griffin in Yubel. Griffin. 9% are playing it. So 91% are not playing this card despite how powerful it is. Now, you make fun of the Zealantis, but not everyone's playing Yubel. We don't have Nightmare Pain to protect our Apollo USA. She's quite small. She's at 1,600 attack. You could very easily attack into her, but with the Zealantis on the field, you could protect her by popping the monster that wants to attack into her, because as long as we're co-linked, we could pop 2 cards within the battle phase. Also, this is a good play against Super Poly. We have 3 different attributes in the field. Super Poly is generally, if you have 2 of the same attribute, your field of those same attribute monsters could get fused into. So we have a wind, we have a fire, we have a water, we are protected, we are good. Let's go. We have 2 negates plus the Promethean Princess. So this is pretty much just 3 disruption into the Mask Arena, which will be a 4th and 5th disruption. So 5 disruption with this field, plus Max C. Now we top decked an Imperm to turn off 2 of those disruptions. So from 5 disruption, we're now down to 3. Just 3. How do we play around 3 disruption? One of them will trigger off of a special summon with the Promethean Engrave. And we just drew an Ash, so now we have 4 disruption. Within the main phase, summoning Mask Arena to then activate Mask Arena to go into Little Knight. Little Knight on summon is going to banish a card on the field or engrave. We banish Yubel, that will trigger the field spell to summon a Terra Incarnate onto the field. Druiswarm also banishing Spirit of Yubel Engrave. Why? Why? The Throne would not summon a Spirit of Yubel off of Yubel dying. They're both level 10. Okay. I guess we just wanted to decrease the chance of summoning an early Phantom of Yubel. Sure. Terra Incarnate, come forth and summon. Birch is going to send itself, plus the Druiswarm, to send a card in the field to the grave. So we're going to send the Terra Incarnate to the grave. So what was 5 disruption turned into 6 because we had a way to get Druiswarm out and send it to the grave to get rid of that Terra Incarnate. So we now just have Ash and Little Knight and Promethean Princess. So triple disruption. Send it. Throne already triggered. 1 for 1. Discard. Ash. Negate. 2 more disruptions. On a special summon or an activation of a card, we could chain banish with the Little Knight. So can't use our disruption here, but this is where we could Promethean if we want to, but would it even be good? We're going to chain Little Knight to chain banish the Spirit Yubel off of the field. Thus, we have nothing to destroy with our Nightmare Pain. Alrighty, we're going to return back on the deck the Terra Incarnate and the D-Lotus to summon our Phantom of Yubel, which will trigger our Promethean Princess, which will destroy from the deck a Spirit of Yubel, to summon a Yubel, to destroy with the Nightmare Pain, to summon a Terra Incarnate. Let's go. Wait. Did you run out of Spirit of Yubels? We destroyed Terra Incarnate. Spirit of Yubel's banished. Spirit of Yubel's banished. And where's your 3rd Spirit of Yubel? You only played 2. Ooh, okay. Yeah, well, that happened. What are the regular ratios of the Spirit of Yubel and Yubel? So if we look at Yubel, 67% are playing at 3, 33% are playing it at 2. Yep. All right, Flame Burge is here, Snake Eye Ash, and just like that, 9,000 damage on the field, lethal damage, knocking out Yubel with Snake Eye Bestial. Snake Eye Bestial, apparently better than Snake Eye Fire King, at least within this matchup specifically. I would say Snake Eye Fire King is better overall, over 100 duels of multiple different decks, but specifically against Yubel, I'd rather play the Snake Eye with Bestial. Pendulum versus Yubel. And Jideo Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a top 10 world player. He's got the super icon here. Oh my gosh. Are you ready? He's a world champion finalist too, right? I think so, right? Yes? Begin. Yubel, Terran Carnate, and D-Lotus back into the deck. Yes, he is. As we have Imperm preemptively onto that D-Lotus, but we could, if we want to, reborn it. We could have, we didn't have to. We could have made a Muckraker, then reborn it by discarding our Effect Veiler or Impermanence, but as you can see from Shardluster's hand, they have more disruption. Can't see the icon? Yeah, you can, right? This is the icon, right? That's what that means. You can see it down here also, right? You see it, that's it. Imperm onto the Phantom of Yubel, thus it will not be able to negate a monster effect. We're gonna Imperm, negate the Skull Crobat Joker. Now, I heard from a top-tier, multi-tournament topping Pendulum player that negating the Skull Crobat is a good play. Yes, negate the Skull Crobat. Well, at least with Ash. I'm not so sure on Veiler or Imperm. It may be better to wait for the Electromite for that. But now that they have Promethean Princess to reborn the Electromite, so maybe that now isn't even the best way to negate. D-Lotus jumping off the field just to get Ash blossomed, and just like that, we are completely out of plays. We don't even have a way to summon a Phantom of Yubel. You have Veiler, you have Ash. Let's see what we can do. Nothing. We can battle for 1800 damage. We are back to basic Yu-Gi-Oh! Let's go, let's go. Nightmare Throne is going to pop off, but with the D-Lotus and Graveyard attempting to be reborn with the Spirit Gates, we could just finger it. We could even wait for it to reborn and then send itself to the graveyard by its effect to then finger it. Let's get into our Lord of Yama. Lord of Yama grabbing the Shavara. Discard Veiler to attempt to reborn D-Lotus. We are going to banish the D-Lotus. It's a non-targeting effect, so we'll reborn something else instead. Popping the Dark Beckoning Beast. So I think this is why we should have waited with the Call by the Grave. Let them reborn, let them activate, then finger the Fool, and then they would not have that free Shavara summon. To battle we go. Skull Crobat back into the extra deck. We're going to Shokan into the Soul of Rage. Only activatable in the main phase to link off with the special summon monster, which would then make our Triple Tactics talent activatable. Skull Crobat is here off the top of the deck just for the Ash Blossom to negate, but we have that Triple Tactics talent, mate. Do we take control or do we draw two? If we attempt to take control, we know that they're going to use the Escape of Unchained to pop us, so we're going for that draw two. What? Double Max C. We activate Max C, and we go in. Okay. Soul of Rage will trigger, Yama will trigger, reborn the Soul of Rage back onto the field, and you can't chain Max C to this. So we correctly activated Max C before the special summon, as we should have done. End the turn. Let's go. Call by the Grave off the top of the deck. We're going to Shavara, pop the Soul of Rage, chain our second copy of Max C, but this time we got the finger. I don't think so. Negates. Wiping out the Soul of Rage to trigger to grab back the Dark Beckoning Beast in the graveyard. It's just wild that Yama could summon any fiend. Soul of Rage can add back any fiend. Yama could be summoned with any two fiends. What the hell? Muckraker is here. It's like the Dark Magician problem. You give Dark Magician good support, and then non-Dark Magician decks use that support. I think they got it right with the new Blue Eyes White Dragon support, though. I don't see that being used in non-Blue Eyes decks, and I think Blue Eyes will actually be good. Escape of the Unchained, pop in the Soul of Rage. How many times has Soul of Rage been adding back? Oh my Jesus. And let's get to it. We have an Effect Veiler. Dark Beckoning, do not veil this, of course. We're going to Muckraker, get negated from reborning the Shavara from the graveyard, discard the Spirit Gates, reborn the Dark Beckoning, Nightmare Unicorn on summon, discard the Ash, return back the Time Pendulum Graph, Access Code Talker, just like that. Lethal damage, taking this into game 2. Charluster never got to Pendulum Summon. 9 turns, no Pendulum Summon. Supreme King Dragon, come to us. Gate Magician. Gate Magician will set up the Gate 0. We're now going to use the Wings of Light to grab the Supreme Gate Magician. We're going to special summon by sending an extra deck monster to the grave. Hit him with the Maxi, and as we said, Maxi keeping Pendulum decks in check. Otherwise, the Electromite would be unbanned in the TCG. Electromite banned in the TCG, activating to put a card from the deck into the extra deck to then add it back and draw a card. We could try to make a Promethean Princess to reborn it, but we're still not going to have the effect of being able to add a card from the deck to the extra deck. Could still pop and draw and add, though. Triple Disruption versus 10 cards in our hand. Now, it's going to look bad if we lose this. Let's get to it. Let's do it. Begin. Start this off right away with our 10-card hand, dropping it down to 8 to summon our Phantom of Yubel to negate the Apollo USA. We're going to have to preempt our Imperm to stop the Phantom of Yubel from stopping our Apollo. Dark Beckoning with the Spirit Gates, additionally summon the Chaos Summoning, making Almirage. This tells me we want to make a Lil Knight. Lil Knight with Almirage is a really good play. Royal Lil Knight, by the way. We're going to attempt to banish the Imperm. Chain Imp. What are we doing? We're going to Lil Knight, chain banish ourselves, plus the Apollo. Apollo's gone. And we didn't even have to use the Phantom of Yubel. No, I guess we're cross-out designating. Okay, this is quite interesting play. Keeping our Little Knight on the field here, simply just negating the Imperm. I mean, Charluster knows that he lost, right? I mean, they start off with a 10-card hand. It's a Yubel deck. Little Knight's gonna chain stop that if we wanted to. We're not even doing it. We don't care. Okay, we don't care. Spirit Gates is going. Wait, did we successfully negate the Little Knight banish so we can attack directly if we want to? Right? Did that just happen? We negate. We Imperm, negate. It did negate, right? Yeah, it got negated, so we can attack directly. Yup. Phoenix on summon, discard a card, pop a back row card, adding an Ash Blossom through that draw due to being co-linked with the Apollo USA. Thank you very much. Making a Yama, searching for Shivara. Squirmer, Reborn, pop what we reborn. We are going to summon our Spirit of Yubel. Anguish is here, linking off with the Apollo USA. 5,300 attack, 6,300 targeting the Apollo USA. We have 8,300, which we can attack directly because the Little Knight was negated. So we didn't chain Little Knight to Apollo because we wanted the Little Knight to be negated by Apollo so that we could attack directly. So we were cool with it. It was good. Reborn, and just like that, lethal damage. Good job, Judeo Yu-Gi-Oh! Maxi keeping Pendulum in check. Let's keep on going. And the tournament was just longer. So Maxi is decreasing the amount of matches going to time. Imperm, negate the Dark Beckoning Beast. We had a Phantom of Yubel to protect us from something like an Effect Veiler or an Ash Blossom. Now we don't get the additional effect of being able to normal summon our D-Lotus, but with the Muckraker, we cannot reborn what we discard, but if we reborn from engrave the Dark Beckoning, we could then additionally summon the D-Lotus. So we could just Veil or negate this, but if we Veil or negate, we don't discard by card effects. We don't discard by cost, we discard by card effects, so you're negating the discard. So if we let them discard, as they reborn the Dark Beckoning, we could then just negate the Dark Beckoning with the Veiler, and then they also have to discard a card. Are we doing it? Nope. D-Lotus, we're going to preemptively negate the D-Lotus, forcing them to fully commit their entire hand. But now they get to make a Yama, which would not be here had we used our... I mean, we still could have done it, right? We had the D-Lotus in the hand. No, we didn't have another Yubel. So D-Lotus in the hand, no way to make Phantom of Yubel. We would have ended on Muckraker and... how did we summon that Phantom of Yubel? Phantom of Yubel. Okay, we did have the Spirit of Yubel, so we could have still made a Phantom of Yubel with the D-Lotus and Yubel in the grave and still would have made something similar to this, but we would not have had the Phantom of Yubel because we would have needed it for our play, okay? Now, what did we accomplish here? We accomplished the ability to negate a monster, pop a card, link off, Little Knight, 5 disruptions versus a 4-card hand. And of course, we draw Max C for our first freaking play. Let's go. Nightmare Pain is going to get popped by the Escape of the Unchained. Now we're down to 4 disruptions. I think if you go second, you should start with 6 cards in your hand and not draw for your turn. Thus, we would have had Max C. We're going to trigger the Yama, reborn the Soul of Rage. So we're going to use the Phantom of Yubel to negate that Max C. We're now down to triple disruption. Soul of Rage link with their special summon. Little Knight banish, Little Knight banish. And what's good, we have D-Lotus for the next turn, thanks to the Soul of Rage being destroyed. You don't have a Nightmare Pain, so we could simply go to battle into the Soul of Rage, making a Phantom of Yubel, then ending our turn. We're not going to try to Soul of Rage into it because it would be negated. We're going to Spirit Gates. I mean, should we have still done so, right? It negates, so what? Soul of Rage stays in the field, and then you don't have to deal with the negate. We're now cross-sheeping. Return back for our own Phantom of Yubel. We are going to use the D-Lotus as the Phantom of Yubel negates the D-Lotus as the Phantom of Yubel negates the Phantom of Yubel. Negate. Thus taking this into game 2. Spirit of Yubel, searching our deck. Spirit of Yubel, summon a Yubel, Nightmare Pain, pop the Soul of Rage, add a card in the grave, back to our hand. We got Squirmer, special summon, pop Yubel, summon Terror Incarnates, return back for Phantom of Yubel, trigger Cross Sheep, reborn the D-Lotus, Shokan into the Chaos Angel for 4,200 damage, reborn the Spirit of Yubel. What the? We got the Gustav Max Cannon plus an Access Code Talker, 8,800 damage, but boost to 10,000 damage, 12,000 damage. And just like that, lethal with the Gustav Max Cannon. Damn. People actually playing the Gustav Max Cannon? I'm sorry. I think the censored version is worse than the censored version. The uncensored, that is. I don't know. This looks bad. That's not good. D-Lotus activate Max C before the activation, because otherwise they would have potentially a Gamma in the hand to negate the Max C. Let's speed this up. Oh, we ending. Imperm and Nibiru are our only plays. Let's go. Spirit Gates, grab the Dark Beckoning. Nightmare Pain, bait out an Ash Blossom with our Gamma. Did not Ash it, so we're going to activate Spirit of Yubel, summon from the deck Yubel. So we tried to bait an Ash, we tried to bait a Max C for our Gamma. We have Squirmer, special summoning, pop in the Yubel, triggering to summon a Terror Incarnate from the deck, as we now make a Cross Sheep. Return back to summon our Phantom of Yubel. We can't activate Nibiru, then chain the Imperm onto the Phantom of Yubel. You'd have to Imperm first, then on resolution, be able to Nibiru the field. But there's no Phantom of Yubel, as we're now making a Chaos Angel. Chaos Angel on summon's gonna force the activation of the Impermanence. And we're now in a situation. The situation is, do we Nibiru right now before a Phantom of Yubel is summoned? We know they could summon a Phantom of Yubel. We know it will negate the Nibiru. So this is it. And Chaos Angel does not have protection from Nibiru. We're gonna discard. Reborn Spirit of Yubel. Spirit of Yubel activate. Search our deck for Eternal Favorite. Now we're going to Nibiru. Tributing off the entire field, including that Chaos Angel, which will be affected by the Nibiru. Squirmer, reborn from the grave. Spirit Gates, add back a continuous spell because we control level 10. Return back on the deck to summon our Phantom of Yubel. For the Shokan into Yama. Yama adds Shabara. Shabara can't pop the token, unfortunately. We're going to pop a set card, summon, deal some damage. Main phase 2. The token will be used for the Soul of Rage. Shabara set the escape. And let's talk about our disruptions. The Eternal Favorite is not a disruption whatsoever. The escape is a pop, and then we have Link Off into Little Knight plus Ash Blossom. We have 5 disruptions versus a 4-card hand. Can we break it? Nightmare Pain. Do not pop on the activation of the card. Pop it on the activation of the effect, if that's what you want to do to get rid of it. And we are correctly using the escape to pop the activation of the hard once per turn effect. The activation of the card is not a hard once per turn. The effect is summoning a Phantom of Yubel to now lock out the Soul of Rage. So we have the Soul of Rage, which is tied to 3 Disruption, plus the Ash Blossom, which we are pinning down. So that 1 Phantom of Yubel is pinning down triple Disruption. Thus, we would just have an Ash Blossom. So what do? We're screwed. Pop the Spirit of Yubel to summon a Shabara. So we pretty much just, we're coping that Phantom of Yubel will negate the Ash. It does not. We went from 5 Disruption to 0. No more Disruption because the Soul of Rage is pinned down by the Phantom of Yubel, and 3 Disruptions are tied to that 1 Soul of Rage. Now, what could actually happen here? Is there any way to play around this? There really isn't. We're kind of in trouble here. We're going to use the Eternal Favorite to summon a Spirit of Yubel from our graveyard, and if we activate it on Chainlink 1, it will not be activatable on summon. We're going to force the activation of the Soul of Rage, which the Phantom of Yubel will very easily negate. So the Eternal Favorite needs to be used on Chainlink 2 or higher to summon your Spirit of Yubel for it to activate on summon. It's not really a big deal because you're just searching for a follow-up card, probably just a second copy of Nightmare Pain. Making our own Soul of Rage. Gamma is now activatable because we have nothing on the field. So what was not even part of our 5 Disruptions is now activatable, stopping the Spirit of Yubel from being summoned, summoning another Phantom of Yubel, which we can't negate again within the same turn. We're not using the Eternal Favorite to reborn within the opponent's end phase for some reason. We're now going to summon our Spirit of Yubel, activate Nightmare Pain. We're going to use the Soul of Rage to link off with the Spirit of Yubel. I think that was a big mistake. Why did we not reborn during their end phase? Little Knight on summon, banishing a card in the field, taking out the Spirit Gate so we can't reborn from the grave. Let's go. Nightmare Pain, popping to add a Grave Squirmer. We're going to use the Call by the Grave to banish and negate the Spirit of Yubel. Low on time is why. Okay. Shavara pop, trigger Yama to reborn the Soul of Rage off of your own card being destroyed. Nightmare Unicorn on summon, discard, trigger force the activation of the Eternal Favorite. Since it was summoned on Chainlink 2 or higher, the Spirit of Yubel could activate, but it is currently fingered, so we fingered ourselves. As we then make a Chaos freaking Angel on summon, banishing the Spirit of Yubel off the field just like that, 1-in-1. Nicely done. I do very much enjoy seeing Yubel players putting in more aggressive cards in their deck. Cards that are not good going first, Chaos Angel, and also now Nightmare Unicorn, among the many cards I was discussing today, making the deck better going second. Starting off with the Dark Beckoning Beast, there are no hand traps from the opponent here. Let's speed on through this play. Or negate, link, SP, Phantom of Yubel, negate, escape, pop. That's 9 disruptions, plus Ash Blossom being 10 disruptions, plus the Eternal Favorite is 11 disruptions, which could fuse with the entire field if we have a Yubel in the field, which we will have on the field if the Phantom of Yubel negates anything, destroying Spirit to summon a Yubel, thus fusing with the entire field, giving us 11 disruptions. Starting off with the Nightmare Pain. Activate the Pain, chain the escape. We're now from 11 disruptions down to 10. And we're gonna banish the Yama. So we went from 11 disruptions to now, we are down to 7. We just lost 4 disruptions. Yup, okay. 7 disruptions instead of 11. 777, so that was a good play with the Call by the Grave. Call by the Grave traded with 3 disruptions and we used 1. And now we have Eternal Favorite, which you don't want to use it here to summon. No, we're going to wait for a Yubel to be on the field, right? What? Now we're down to 6 disruptions. We lost another disruption. To battle we go. We have to attack our new Yubel. Shavara pops Spirit, summon from the deck a Yubel. And we're ending with 6 disruptions. Okay, sure. The opponent has no disruption since we can negate their only form of disruption as we now make a Chaos Angel. Chaos Angel on summon, banishing the Escape of the Unchained, further Shokaning into Muckraker, which could reborn the Chaos Angel to banish again. Apollo USA says, I don't think so. Negate. I love this. You do this in Labyrinth, and now you could do it in Yubel, Muckraker, make a Chaos Angel, then reborn the Chaos Angel. It's not on Synchro Summon. It's on Special Summon. Special Summon, trigger the effect more than once per turn, banish a card in the field, and just like that, 2-1 victory. Let's go. Bonfire, it's up. Come to us, Snake Eye Ash. Ash is here. Grabbing our Poplar. Poplar trigger, Special Summon. Getting our Divine Temple. Divine Temple, set up a back row card. We are going to be making the play that loses really hard to Ash Blossom. But we have an original Sinful in our hand, so it works out. We're gonna discard Gamma to summon our Diablo Star to set up into the back row our Wanted Seeker. We're gonna further link this up into Hida. Hida, steal the Ash from the opposing player's graveyard, trigger the Poplar, equip into the back row. As we then make a Promethean Princess. Nope, Celine Avidan's had a Promethean. Okay. Reborning the Diablo Star to make an Apollo USA, which you can't do with the Promethean Princess since you're locked into Fire Monsters only. We're gonna summon a Birch from the deck, and what the heck was that? We have Maxi plus double negate on the Apollo USA, mate. Let's go. Branded Lost, summon the Albaz. Apollo can't negate Albaz. You can't. You could Veiler, you could Imperm, and it stops the Albaz, but the Apollo negates the activation, and the Branded Lost says you cannot negate the activation of an effect to fusion summon. Thus, we're chaining Maxi. Damn. Birch is going to tribute off the Apollo USA to summon from the deck. So now you have nothing to fuse with, potentially, right? What are you summoning from the deck that we could even fuse with? Just summon something crappy. What? I could fuse with that. I mean, it will trigger. It won't. It won't trigger. Chainlink 1 to fuse. Fuse with your monster that would trigger in the grave but can't respond to a fusion summon, so you don't summon anything from the grave. Damn. Flameburge will not activate because you can't respond to a fusion summon. See? No Flameburge. And there's a level 1 fire, level 1 fire, level 1 fire, level 1 fire. There's 4 level 1 fires, and Flameburge can activate. Ash, negate the Foolish Burial. Mercurier, negate the negates. And we searched for the Mercurier knowing that it would negate the Ash. We're gonna send from the deck Serenir trigger, send Branded Fusion, Tragedy, set the Branded Fusion, activate Branded Fusion. Someone please stop Abomod. Oh my gosh. This mad lad has gone crazy. We are under the Maxi challenge. Albion banishing the Graveyard to come forth and summon Borlode Furious. We have the scam train going on right now. Thank you for everyone whoever contributes to that. And just like that, lethal damage. Damn. You could have the thickest Apollo on the field, but with the Branded Lost, she's no good. She now cannot negate a fallen Albaz. Begin. Poplar trigger, grabbing the original Sinful, or the Shokan into a Link Karibo. You're a shrimp. Poplar equip, send the Poplar, summon from the deck, Ash. We got nothing. We got nothing. But we have the Albaz, Branded Lost play again. Making a Masquerena. Flameburst trigger, reborn 2 level 1 fires for the Shokan into our Promethean Princess. We got Flameburst back to push the Masquerena into the back row. Raging Phoenix, end our turn. What did we accomplish? We have Masquerena into Little Knight or Apollo, so it's 2 to 3 disruptions plus impermanent. And we have a Promethean Princess, so we have 4 to 5 disruptions. Plus Maxi. We can't stop the Maxi. Let's go. Albaz is going to immediately threaten to fuse with the Flameburge. So had the Flameburge change the Albaz to summon the Masquerena, we would fuse with the Masquerena. We could have, of course, used the Flameburge within the draw phase to summon Masquerena, but we would still be able to activate Albaz with the Masquerena, because if we chained linked in response to the Albaz, we could fuse with whatever we would have summoned. But Imperm stops it all. Lubellion, discard, search our deck for a Bestial, Serenir. Serenir limited to 1, banishing a Linkuriboh from the opposing player's graveyard. We're going to chain our Maxi to it. We are now drawing per special summon. Now, this looks like a perfect Chaos Angel play, but we do not play Chaos Angel, because if we were to summon Chaos Angel or even a Little Knight, you then can't activate your Branded Fusion for the rest of the turn. We're going to send a Branded Fusion from the deck to the grave with the Retribution, adding it back to our hand here. So you may be thinking, why not just make an Anaconda? Don't activate, right? You get it into the graveyard, but if you summon anything but a Fusion, Branded Fusion turns off. So no Typhon in this deck, no Little Knight, no Chaos Angel. You have to pretty much be stuck to Fusions only, and the Anaconda is a last resort. Setting up the Branded Lost. We're going to summon our Masquerena, but we know that we're not going to be able to use Apollo USA in response to the Fusion summons. So what we have to do is just Little Knight banish off the Branded Lost right here, right now. It's pretty much our only valid play. Yep. Now we could use Little Knight in response to a summoned monster from the extra deck to banish it until the end phase. Ash adding a Poplar trigger. We got a full field of protection. You are not going to lethal us. You have the Subversion. Branded Fusion, send from the deck Lubellion and Albaz for an Albion, which can attack even if it activates the fuse. We're going to fuse with the graveyard here, or the fields. Yep, field and grave. Come forth. Lubellion, the Searing Dragon, which cannot declare an attack if it activates the fuse. Discard the Quem, fuse with the Lubellion and the Albaz to make our Mirror Jade into defense. Sure. Triggering the Promethean Princess. We're going to chain Mirror Jade to the Promethean before being popped. 2 non-target banish a monster on the field. We're going to Little Knight, banish the Albion before it's sent to the grave through a Lubellion. But we have another Albion in the graveyard, so we don't care that this one's getting banished. All right. Goodbye to the Ash. Mirror Jade will now be activating to wipe the field during the end phase. Sure. We have Poplar triggering to equip from Engrave the Flameburge Dragon. And let's end it up. Albion set. Magna Hut is resolving, right? Magna Hut, we had nothing to add. We couldn't add anything. The banished Serenir was the only thing. Sure. Okay, and then the Albion comes back. Little Knight, just like that. There you go. Wipe the field. Little Knight come afterward. Let's go. This is the second duel. Oak on summon Reborn the Ash. Oak send the Flameburge plus itself to summon another Flameburge from the deck or hand. This one's from the hand. We're going to push the Lubellion and Grave into the back row. Now, the banishment can reborn the Mirror Jade at any time, plus fuse with the field if we have a fuse play, and we can non-target monster banish with that Mirror Jade. But when do we summon it? We have Zealantis. This is scary. They're co-linked. So as soon as we go to the battle phase, we have non-target pop cards on the field. We're going to further go into a Nightmare Phoenix, forcing the activation of the banishment. Banishment's gonna have to flip up. Reborn the Mirror Jade for the non-target monster banish play. When do we banish? We could also activate the Zealantis to banish the entire field to come back. Reborn through the effect of the Flameburge being sent to the grave. Promethean Princess is gonna force the activation of the Mirror Jade, sending Rinbrum to non-target banish as we're allowing it to banish. Now we have another form of disruption with the Albaz and Grave. We get Rinbrum, Reborn Albaz, fuse with one of their monsters into another Mirror Jade, and that newly summoned Mirror Jade will be activatable to banish again. When do we do it? We can't do it in the battle phase because the Zealantis will pop the Albaz, thus we don't get to fuse. So at the end of the main phase is what I'm thinking. That's when we're going to summon our Albaz to fuse with their fields. But Druid Swarm's not going to be good. Druid Swarm only activatable if the opponent controls a monster on the field, which would make it a quick effect. For the Shokaning into Hida. Now, Albaz, discard, fuse with one monster, fusing with the Zealantis, making a second copy of the Mirror Jade, being activatable again. Non-target monster banish. Right away, we're going to banish the Raging Phoenix. Off the field you go. Set up an Oak from our graveyard into the back row. Druid Swarm into a Celine Navidad, which will then send the Mirror Jade to the graveyard. This is not a fusion. It is a fusion summon Mirror Jade, so this will in fact activate to wipe the field during the end phase. Parallel Exceed in response to the summon of the Celine, which... Who forgot that this card is semi-limited? What? Goodbye to the Mirror Jade through the effect of the Druid Swarm. Trigger to wipe the field during the end phase, but will there be an end phase? Celine, quick effect, summon an effect veiler from the hand. Access code Talker, just like that. 5,300 damage. We have 92 on the field. Lethal with the Parallel Exceed, taking this into a game 3. Oh my. Foolish Burial, sending from the deck to the grave. We have no hand trap whatsoever. Let's speed this up. Branded Fusion, send from the deck. So what we have here is a Mercurial Negate, non-target monster banish with the Mirror Jade. We have the Brandon Red, which could summon a Chimera, which could pop multiple cards on the field. And what else do we have here? We have the Chaos Nephthys, which will trigger off of the Chimera popping cards on the field. If a card on either field is destroyed, summon, then banish on the field and engrave, so that's extra banishment. And then we have Quem, which we could reborn if we can get the Mirror Jade into the graveyard somehow. Otherwise, it could reborn an Albaz, then fuse their field. So it's about 5 disruptions here. And let's go. Diablo Star is here. Yup. Poplar equipped into the back row. Will we be searching for a Subversion? Are we going to force plays through Subversion? Yes, we are. Subversion, push a card in the field into the back row. Pushing the Mirror Jade. We're going to activate Mirror Jade to non-target monster banish. Banishing itself. Okay. Quem, trigger. Reborn Albaz. We could not use Mercurial. Mercurial is not activatable to negate the Maxi. We also didn't use Call by the Grave on the Quem trigger to reborn the Albaz to fuse with the Diablo Star, as we now have Lubellion. Lubellion could now go into another form of disruption by resummoning our Mirror Jade. There we go. So the Albaz disruption through Quem turns into a double disruption. So instead of 5 disruption, we had 6, as we have another Mirror Jade. Mirror Jade is here. We've got the Mercurial, Mirror Jade, the Chimera, and the Nephthys. We have 4 disruptions. Poplar come forth, grabbing the original Sinful. Original Sinful, send the back row Poplar to summon from the deck and Ash. Ash on someone could be negated by the Mercurial. We're holding onto that Mercurial negate. We have negate, we have non-target monster banish, we have pop cards on the field, we have banished cards on the field and in the grave. When are we going to use those disruptions? Now, the Call by the Grave could be quite annoying, as it will be chained to the Branded in Red. The Branded in Red is tied to 2 of these 4 disruptions. We're targeting the Alubur. We are not fingering. What are we saving that finger for? For the Mercurial? Because now we're going into that Chimera to get popping. Come forth Chimera, Ash Blossom negate. We have Mercourier to negate the negate, but then we finger the negate mate. Oh my Jesus. Mercourier. Negate the Ash, negating the pop of cards in the field. Call by the grave, finger the Mercourier, which we know has been in the hand. And just like that, we lost a ton of disruption. No pop, no Chaos Nephthys. Mercourier just got negated. And we also used our Mirror Jade. Oh, wait, did we use the Mirror Jade on the field here? It's incorrectly saying that it already activated the effect, but I mean, it's activated more than once. I don't think this Mirror Jade activated yet. It has not. I don't think so. So we still have a non-target monster banish. Oak, send the Link Kuribo to summon from the deck. Yeah, not this Mirror Jade. This one is not activated yet. So we still have one disruption left. Flameburst Trigger, Reborn 2, level 1 fires. Now, non-target monster banish the Promethean off the field. We had 0 disruptions left. What the heck was that? What? Time limits? No way. Does Chaos Nephthys trigger off of battle destruction? Card in the field is destroyed only by card effect. Only card effect. Okay. Well, damn. Abelmod advancing to the grand finale with no puppet in sight. DBB into the Gamma. Do we Ash Blossom negate? No, we do not, mate, because we already have the Spirit Gates in our hand. The DBB goes to the grave. We can now discard Spirit of Yubel to reborn it. All's well. Now, the Veiler is going to be annoying, as it will be used onto our Spirit of Yubel to negate our search. Negate. No Nightmare Pain. We could still do what? What could we do? We're going to just summon a Phantom of Yubel and pass. Damn. Gamma, putting in the word Gamma plus Veiler, to be fair. What do we have here? We have Spirit Gates searching for the Dark Beckoning. We're not going to use Ash. We're holding it as we search for a Chaos Summoning. Additional summon. Now Max C. Finger the C. And now what we have left is our Ash Blossom. What are we using the Blossom on? Are we going to negate a Yama searching for a Shavara? Or are we waiting for a D-Lotus? Yama's here. Activate. We're going to use the Phantom of Yubel instead of the Ash to negate the Yama. No Shavara for you. Spirit of Yubel on pop, summon a Yubel from the deck. Discard our dead escape. Well, not really dead. It could have been used with the Yama. To now make a Soul of Anguish. With the Nightmare Pain, we're going to pop the Anguish. No, we're not, because the Ash Blossom will negate. Now the Anguish can link off with the Yubel. Into what? What are we making? We are making a Little Knight. Little Knight on summon. Banish the Spirit of Yubel from the opposing player's graveyard to reduce the likeliness of them being able to summon a Phantom of Yubel, which we know they could still do. Off the top of the deck, we got that D-Lotus. We're going to chain Little Knight, banish the Dark Beckoning. Now, we don't have that additional summon, but we could Spirit Gates, discard D-Lotus to reborn the D-Lotus. Yup. Yubel in the graveyard, making it a legal play to do so. Taking this into game number 2. Come to us, D-Lotus, through the Nightmare Throne. D-Lotus, summon from the deck. We have no hand traps whatsoever. Summon Shavara, summon Yubel from the deck, and we know where this is going. It's going to be 3 disruption, plus 3 disruption, plus escape, plus the Phantom of Yubel. That's going to be 8 disruption, plus 9, plus 10. 10 freaking disruption. We out of here. Let's just go. Game 3, go first, then we win. Easy peasy. Then grand finale. And we do sometimes see it in tournaments, but we could see it through the plays. Even without seeing the players, we could tell the players on tilt. They'll play different than the previous game 1 and 2. And some of them do surrender, I would say, winnable games. We are summoning for the deck. Terra Incarnate. D-Lotus is here. What do we do against Maxi? Maxi's the perfect card to put someone on tilt. That's probably the main card you're early surrendering to. You're just like, nah, this game doesn't matter. Screw this. I see Max C, I'm out. Return back, Phantom of Yubel, but in a tournament, I mean, you gotta make it work. You don't wanna be eliminated. Money's on the line. Just make it work. DBB is here. You Max C me, I Max C you, but then you negate my Max C. I surrender. No, we can't. No surrender. We had Phantom of Yubel to negate an Ash, but we couldn't negate a cross-out designate. We couldn't negate a Call by the Grave mates. We're screwed. We have Nibiru, we have Phantom of Yubel. That's it. And they're on summon number 2. So 2 disruptions versus summon number 3. 3 summons, 2 disruptions. Yama, search the deck. Let's go. Shibara. Okay, discard Reborn. We're on summon number 4. Spirit of Yubel, setting up a second, our first copy of Nightmare Pain. Nightmare Pain, get poppin'. Trigger the Spirit into summon number 5. That's it. Nibiru time. Nibiru and Phantom of Yubel. Well, now their Phantom of Yubel will stop one of our disruption. Here's the problem. This 2 is actually a 0. Call by the Grave negates the Phantom. Phantom, well, I mean, you'll finger yourself. Actually, on the resolution, we have to Nibiru. Phantom of Yubel will negate. Phantom of Yubel will negate the negates. You finger the Yubel, you then finger yourself. Then the Nibiru goes through. Uh-oh. Nope. we know. We know that would happen, so that's it. Nibiru, tribute off the field. Let's see what we can do off of that. We just summon another copy of the Phantom of Yubel because we do not want to finger ourselves. We're only reflecting 600 damage if we attack into the Nibiru. Yama trigger after a card has been destroyed to reborn a fiend from the hand or grave. You could summon a D-Lotus from the hand if you needed to. Further linking this up, I should say, syncering into a Chaos freaking Angel on someone, banishing that Nibiru off the field. 5,500 damage on the field, not quite lethal, as we further go into a Muckraker. With the Muckraker, we're at 6,500. Reborn in the Anguish, giving us 8,900 damage. Lethal without an access code talker, thanks to the help of Chaos Angel, taking Judeo Yu-Gi-Oh! Into the grand finale. Damn. Yubel versus Branded Despia without Puppet, as it has recently been banned. Begin. Branded going first. Fusion deployment is Ash bait. Do not let them eat your Ash. Hey, that's not that good. That's pretty bad. Now, at the Fusion deployment, we could copy the duplication. Duplication copying the deployment will summon an Albaz, discarding a card to fuse with the opposing player's field. So that's going to be our way to gain access to our Albaz. Ooh, we got Gamma. Parry map must be the first thing we activate at the start of the main phase. We lose half of our life points. Dark Beckoning, searching for the Spirit Gates. We're not going to use our Ash. Spirit Gate, searching for the Chaos Summoning Beast. Additionally, summoning the Chaos Summoning Beast. Notice how we're trying to bait out disruptions before committing to our D-Lotus. We did not additionally summon the D-Lotus. We're going to Super Poly, fuse with the Dark Beckoning Beast and the Chaos Summoner. Use it. But now, we could discard D-Lotus to reborn it with the Spirit Gates. That's exactly what we're doing. But we did not finger the D-Lotus because we could wait for it to activate and then finger it on activation. We're going to Cartesia, fuse with the Garura into a Gangrunal. Gangrunal is going to send from the deck or extra deck, as the Garura will add a card to our hand, randomly drawing it, as the duplication is required to have a card in the hand if we're going to summon Albaz to discard to fuse with the opposing player's field. Very well done. Now we have a card to discard for Albaz. Serenir will send a card from the deck to the grave here, send our Branded Fusion for the next turn, or we could just copy it with the Fusion duplication. So now we are not reliant on the deployment. We can now copy a Branded Fusion. We are fingering that D-Lotus. Let's go. Nicely done. Now, Squirmer lost its opportunity to special summon. If we are fearful of a Ash Blossom or a Call by the Grave, and not that if, they already used an Ash Blossom, so we know that that would not be a thing here. Did they use it? They discarded it. They did not use Ash, but we know there's an Albert in the hand, so the Squirmer is now getting screwed by the finger. We need a Fiend on the field to summon the Squirmer. No Squirm. Ending our turn. Oh my Jesus. We have an open Gamma. So we are ready with that Gamma as they copy the branded fusion. Sending from the deck to come forth and summon a Lubellion. Can we negate this with Gamma? No. If the Tragedy Chainlink blocks it, which I believe we did on purpose. Lubellion, Chainlink 1 discard. Tragedy, block it. Block the negate. No Gamma mate. Grabbing a Lubellion. We, of course, don't want to negate a Tragedy. That's kind of crappy. As we now have Mirror Jade. Are we going to dump an Albion into the graveyard during the end phase? No, we're not. Back to Abo mod. The Lubellion can declare attack. 8,000 damage. Let's go. No care or fear of the Spirit of Yubel. I mean, what? They summon it, you then banish it off the field. Who cares, right? So we had the out to a Spirit of Yubel being summoned in the battle phase. Very well done. Abomod winning game number 1. Let's take this into game 2. Harry Reese at the start of the main phase, grabbing our D-Lotus. Activate the Throne, pop the Spirit, summon a Yubel. As we then link it off into a Soul of Rage, triggering Shavar to set up an escape. And now to Abomod, who has an evenly matched in the hand. Now, Yubel, later on, we're going to receive a new rank 10 Xyz, which will be able to negate evenly matched. Until then, we have Escape of the Unchained to play around the evenly matched. You're going to see exactly what you should do. I'm confident in Judeo Yu-Gi-Oh! To show you. Let's go. Uh-oh, battle phase. Evenly matched, banish everything but one card. So we're going to use Escape to pop the Soul of Rage and the Phantom of Yubel. We're going to leave up the Apollo USA, which will be a triple monster negate, triggering Yama to reborn the Soul of Rage. So how many disruptions are we now left with after the evenly match, which is supposed to even up the match? Well, we have 6 disruptions. 6. Link with a special summon, Little Knight Banish, Little Knight Banish, Apollo negate, Apollo negate, Apollo negate, 6 disruption after an evenly match? What the hell is that? What can we do? Abo, did you... What? You just pass? We pass. All right, let's speed this up. Soul of Rage, trigger, add back a D-Lotus, return from the graveyard back, summon a Phantom of Yubel, summon a Spirit from the deck, Spirit, grab a Nightmare Pain, Pain, pop a Spirit from the hand, add a Squirmer, summon a Yubel onto the field, Squirmer summon, link off 3 into a Nightmare Unicorn. We have 6,600 damage here. We're going to be reborn in the D-Lotus, making a Chaos Angel, 10,000 damage on the field, and just like that, taking it into a game 3. Let's go. I've said this many times. Evenly is not the answer to Yubel. Gold Sark, banish from the deck. What we are banishing is our Tragedy. We have non-target monster banish. We can then fuse the Mirror Jade into another monster with the Cartesia. If we had a dark monster, it could have turned into a Dragostapelia. Otherwise, we're going to get it into the graveyard to then Quem, reborn it back in the field to then banish another monster. So that's double banish with Mirror Jade. We have the Brandon Red, which will be able to pop multiple cards on the field through a Chimera. We have the Mercurier, which will be able to negate a monster. And through 4 disruption there, we should also, let's see what else we could summon off that. We could Serenir. With the Serenir, we can make that Dragostapelia. And the Serenir, do we really consider that to be a disruption against Yubel? I won't count it. So let's say we have 5 disruption plus a Serenir. Let's go. Oh yeah, the Grand, okay, you're right. Grand Granole and the Mirror Jade are the Dragostapelia. So we have the 5 disruption plus the Serenir. Thank you. Phantom of Yubel summon plus the Dark Beckoning Beast, grab in the Spirit Gates. Spirit Gates, search our deck for the Chaos Summoning Beast. There's a potential opportunity here where you would maybe want to get rid of the Dark Beckoning Beast, which would make it harder to use the Spirit Gates to reborn from the graveyard. They also don't get the additional summon. We're going to allow the additional summon here into a Phoenix. Phoenix on summon, discarding to pop the back row branded Lost. Sure. We're going to Serenir, banish the Spirit of Yubel, as the Phantom of Yubel negates the Serenir, as the Mercurier negates the negate, as the cross-out designate. What? Psyframe driver? Huh? Huh? What the? Negate nothing. All right. Goodbye to... Is this us pretty much scooping to a single Bestial? Oh, I think everyone has to play Bestial, right? Bestials in your deck. I don't care what you're playing. Put the Bestials in, because this looks like a scoop to a Bestial. Damn. Reborning not the Spirit of Yubel. Further Shokanen into a Cross Sheep. End the turn. We can't summon a Phantom of Yubel because the Bestial not only stopped the Spirit from being summoned, it also stopped the summon of a Phantom of Yubel, which would trigger the Cross Sheep. So, Bestial. Bestial's the answer to Yubel. We saw Snake Eye Bestial. We now see Branded with Bestial beating Yubel. Holy moly. And let's get to it. Mirror Jade is going to be banishing the Cross Sheep. We actually had 6 disruption because Sen Rinbrum reborn the Albast, then fused the opposing player's field. And just like that, 9,500 damage. And all we needed was pretty much a Bestial and then negate the negate of negating the Bestial. Damn. Branded Despia with no puppet, winning the Meta Weekly. Someone's got to stop Abomod. What the hell are you doing? What do you have here? You freaking Bell. Oh my Jesus. Now, I'm gonna give it to you straight, okay? It pains me to say this. Voiceless Guardian is 4,100 attack with a low on the field or in grave. Yubel reflects that 4,100 damage. I'm being straight with you. That's gonna happen. You're gonna summon this, it's gonna be 4,100 attack, and Yubel with 2 attacks is gonna reflect it for game. Yes. So, you know, I guess Voiceless doesn't have a good matchup against the best deck. All right, let's look at the decks. Mathmech. FUGB with Mathmech. Here is the main deck here. We got the, you know, semi-limited here, looking good. Double Nibiru. Here is the extra deck. Nice. And then we have Flu on to freaking ease. 40 card Eon Flu. I am loving it. Good job to you. And oh my spiciness. This was great. Spell card, Soul Exchange. Yes. Double Tribute the Field. I loved it. Here is the extra deck of some random nonsense. And let's look at what else we have here. Bestial Runic. Dude, you were in the chat. Why didn't you show up to the top cut? You said that was me when we said someone couldn't make it to the top cut. Why did you make top cut then not play out the top cut? Well, you got top 16. Good job on that. Were you confused about getting top cut maybe? You didn't know something? Please let me know. And then here is the extra deck. Good job. I wish I could have saw you play the deck in the top cut. We have Memento. 40 card Memento. Lemon, good job to you. Looking good. Memento will get some new future support soon. All right. And the August pack, by the way, is the final pack for Worlds. That's it. They're going to be abiding by that pack for Worlds. Plus another ban list. So the next ban list, plus the new pack. Exo Sister. The only mess. Here is the main deck, and here is the extra. Nicely done using the new Utopic Ray Lancer. What? What does this do? You could use this by discarding a spell trap using a rank 4 or lower exceeds. Your opponent loses 500 attack. At the start of the battle phase, you can negate the effects of all attack position monsters your opponent currently controls. When this attacking card destroys a monster by battle, detach material, make another attack in a row. Are we lethaling with this card or what? And does Gabrine boost this up? Or is she just boost up the all Xyz monsters gain 800? So plus 800, then minus 500 on the opponent. So this is essentially plus 1300 attack, making it 3,800 attack, attack, attack. That's pretty cool. Okay, heavy storm, but not. Why heavy and not Harpy Feather Duster? Why do you want to destroy your own back row? And then we have Zoodiac. Buns of the 42 card Zoodiac, a ton of hand traps and non-main deck engine. Okay, there is the extra deck there, just one Zeus. Could play 3 if you wanted to. Sure. And then what else we have? We have Pendulum Magician. Charluster, 40 card Pendulum Magician. Looking good. Here is the extra deck. All right. And then what else we have here? We have Snake Eye, pure Snake Eye with Bestial. And also Parallel Exceed. How many Bestial are you playing? Just 2. I felt like you kept on drawing it. Damn. Good job to you, Rixia. There is the extra deck. Parallel Exceed makes the Banshee to search for an Ash or Poplar. Okay. And then we have Branded. First place Abo Mod, 60 card Branded. Let's make sure we see enough of the main deck here. There's the main deck, and then here is the extra deck. Abomod was playing 2 Duplication and I think 2 Retribution, dropped that down to 1. Got triple Super Poly, still of course have the Grass. Anything else too crazy or changed up here? Still keeping the Chaos Nephthys. Double Albion, double Quem. I think he used to play 1 Quem. You could look on his profile to compare the other list to this one. Still 1 Dragon Magic. I saw some people play more than 1. And then 7 Yubels. What happened? Why is everyone on Yubel? The longer the deck's been out, I guess people are just further optimizing it with Chaos Angel and Gamma, and the deck has just been shown to be better than it is because the representation is just increasing. Everyone is dropping Snake Eye Fire King to play Yubel instead. Starting off with Judeo Yu-Gi-Oh! We got 1 Piri Reese map, but we kept on opening it in the finale. There's the extra deck. We got the Chaos Angel, Anguish, Nightmare Unicorn, Access Code Talker, and Nightmare Phoenix. Did I already say that? We also have Diabolo. Got the Gamma here. What else? The Eternal Favorite, Loving Defender. We got a Gustav Max, and yep, Anguish and Access Code Talker. 6 Goxanim with a 1-for-1. What else we got here? Chaos Angel. Yup. And then Luke. No Gamma, playing the Varudras at home. Evolzar Lars. So Lars with the Shayama and Shavara is going to be able to negate cards like Evenly Match, but I mean, Evenly Match already does not hurt the deck that much. So just a spell and trap card negate to, you know, have extended disruptions of more versatile ones. Good job, Luke. And Shadow. No Gamma. We got Snatch Steal. Snatch and stealing opponent's monsters. Okay. Nice. Sure. A permanent take control. Triple Evenly Match. More Evolzar Lars. Is Lars going up in usage or what? Multiple people playing it. Yeah, we didn't see it in today's tournament at all be summoned. A Flying Dino. Got the Gamma, looking at the extra deck. We got Super Poly. I think the only one among the other Yubel players playing Super Poly. No Eternal Favorite, but we're playing Super Poly. Also playing Nightmare Griffin with no Shayama. Interesting. Okay. Then JC. Gamma, 1-for-1. Chaos Angel is here to stay. Everyone's playing Chaos Angel. And there we go. Thank you very much for everyone that watched. We're going to be playing with the new pack on Friday. And on this Thursday, we're going to have another $1,000 tournament with everything that I leaked. So get ready for that. Get to it. Do it. Let's go.